Sorry, folks. Didn't mean to make you hanging. Just waiting for all the streaming stuff to catch up. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Monday. Good to see you, Clinton. Good to see you, Zoe. Good to see you, everybody. What's happening in your... Why is it the neck? Why is the neck of the woods? Why isn't it the shoulder of the woods or the waist of the woods or the knees of the woods? Let's look that up. Why is it called the neck of the woods? Comes from neck, meaning a narrow strip of land or settlement with a wooded area, like the neck of the Chesapeake Bay. Early settlers in the United States applied the term to the narrow part of the woods where their communities were located. Oh, because it makes a neck. Well, there you go. It's because they live in a narrower part of the woods. You don't want to live in the big wide woods. That's where all the wolves are. Yeah. All right. Narrow constricted geographical feature. Our little neck of the woods. Well, there you go. Now we know. Fantastic. Brand new DTNS hat as seen on the Daily Tech News Show store. This is the sample version. Got it in. I quite like it. It's stitched. It's not a patch or anything. Like it's actually, you can see it's stitched in there. Nice soft wool. Made by AutoCap, if AOTTO, if that means anything to anybody. The cap itself is. It's comfy. I like it. Right. Let's... speaking of product reviews, remind me to show off R.W. Nash's stuff later. So, it's a slower news day. New York Times OpenAI thing made the top of Tech Meme. And then what's at the top of Google News right now? Black Friday. Google hints at Assistant shutdown in March 2026. That's new. Google Assistant might get replaced by Gemini. It's bound to happen. March would be reasonable, I guess. And Gemini is pretty much everywhere now. It's a lot of Black Friday stuff, though. A lot of Black Friday stuff in here. So, I was going to do a little what I did last week and talk about stories that didn't make it, but there's 3. I closed a couple of tabs for things that just weren't, like I opened it and I was like, that's a generic thing. That's not newsy or whatever. I guess I could leave those open in the future, but these were 3 that were under consideration for the main show and didn't make it in. This is basically Steam saying that the price of the console will be comparable to a PC. Valve's Lawrence Yang and Pierre-Luc Griffet were talking on a podcast called Friends Per Second. And Griffet said, I think that if you build a PC from parts and get to the same level of performance, that's the general price window we aim to be at. Ideally, we would be pretty competitive with that and have a pretty good deal. So they're basically saying, don't compare this to a console. Compare it to a PC in price, which means it's going to be more expensive. It's not going to be $500. It's not going to be $700. It's going to be $1,000. They're probably hoping they can get it to $999. That's my guess. That didn't seem like it was anything new. In the end, it was new that he said this on the podcast, but I'm like, that's kind of what Sean said when we talked to him the day it was announced. He was like, yeah, they're saying, keep it under $1,000 comparable to PC. So in those cases, I would only cover this story if everybody is acting as if this was news. And my take on DTNS would be like, hey, that's what they've said from the start. This just got more pickup. But it didn't even seem like there was that much around it. I mean, I know Eurogamer did a story on it, but even Eurogamer's story is more like, yeah, they said it again. So that's probably true. Anyway, that's why that one didn't make it. Nick with a C says, oh, I forgot to turn chat on here. Nick with a C says, I'll compare it to the equivalent GPU and see how much of an upcharge they put on it. That's a good way. That's a good way to do it. Good measurement stick. Alibaba's main AI app debuts strongly in effort to rival ChatGPT. You should write in effort to rival Gemini these days after everybody's all like praising Gemini, all to the skies. Alibaba drew more than 10 million downloads in the week after launch. Qwen underscored how apps have set new highs in rapid adoption. Plans to deeply integrate the service into the Qwen app. Well, I would be shocked if they didn't integrate it into their own stuff. So that's not really a huge thing. Yeah, people use these things a lot. I don't think that's news at this point. And 10 million downloads in the week after its relaunch. In the end, when I got to it, I'm like, I don't know, is that a lot? I mean, it's not small, but it's not like no other app has ever got there. So to me, it was like, Qwen has a decent launch. And I'm like, well, we already knew Qwen launched. So the fact that it was decent, that's dog bites, man. U.S. senators call for probe of scam ads on Facebook and Instagram. I almost put this in because I think the fraud and abuse online is not being covered as well as it should be in some places. The Economist has done a really good job of covering this, talking about what's happening in Myanmar, some of the things China has been doing to combat the places where fraud happens. If you haven't been following this, essentially a lot of that fraud that you get online, if you're getting those phishing scams or you're getting those weird text messages that say, hey, how are you? That stuff a lot of times happens when people are either tricked or abducted, might be a too strong a word, but not too strong, honestly, into taking jobs or being forced to take jobs in these places that exist in sort of these legal gray regions where they're less likely to have the police show up. And they just force actual humans to perform online scams. Get on the phone, type in text messages, whatever, and try to, scam people out of money as much as possible. So I know good friends of mine have said how they like to mess with people who are trying to perform a scam on them. And I totally get the schadenfreude of doing that. I don't do it though, because I know that a lot of times it's a bot, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's someone in distress who's going to be punished if they don't meet a quota for scamming people. And the best thing I could do for them is just not respond, because they can't get in trouble for the person on the other end not responding. If they waste a bunch of time with somebody who's stringing them along, they might get punished for not reeling them in. So I just don't answer. Anyway, that's a huge thing that's going on, and we as a world society need to figure out how to crack down on it. China's been doing some things to bring those people in. The United States has done less, but has done some things. Europe has done some things, but really cracking down on these kind of gray regions. And I think there's more than just Myanmar. Myanmar is the one that I've heard reported about, is important. Okay, that brings us to Senator Hawley and Senator Blumenthal asking the FTC and the SEC to investigate Meta following a Reuters report about how revenue from ads on Facebook and Instagram came from promoted scams and banned goods. That was that Reuters story that said, they knew stuff was happening and they sort of turned a blind eye is the negative view, and then said like, well, there's not much we can do about it. But if you wanted to be pro Facebook, the view would be those things are always impossible to eliminate altogether. And admitting that you're making money off it is different than being okay with making money off of it. Anyway, these senators are like, we should investigate that. And in the end, I came down to like, yeah. So when there's an investigation, maybe that's news. But this doesn't add anything to the earlier story that Facebook knew this stuff was happening, or Meta knew this stuff was happening. If there's an investigation, then we could look on like what kind of changes people would call. But just asking for an investigation on some days might have risen to worth a mention, just didn't today for me. That's it. Those are the 3 stories that didn't make it into the news. Now, here's the other thing. Let's go to the old Daily Tech News Show. That's the store. Nope. You can tell I've been working on the store a lot. There. Let's go to the show notes here. I thought the stuff that did make it in was really good. In fact, when we were done, it's a longer show today because we have an interview with Andy Beach in there too. But for a slow news day where like most of the news is Black Friday stuff, we had Google denies analyzing your emails for AI training. That was something that was being misinterpreted because of the way they were describing the scanning that they already do. There was some stuff about how great Gemini is, stuff from Johnny Ive and Sam Altman about how they're feeling about their hardware prototype, Mark Gurman's usual Apple leaks, this Chinese wristband that claims to use electricity to keep you awake so you don't have to drink coffee. I know, Zoe. Heresy. Never. But yeah, some people can't drink coffee, I guess. And sadly for them, they could use this wristband that zapped you. We talked about that. We talked about the New York Times article that I mentioned previously when we were looking at TechCrunch about OpenAI and its sycophancy crisis. And then a bunch of other interesting things like Lenovo stockpiling PC memory, CNN pulling its content from Apple News, some internet satellite stuff, both on Amazon Leo and Starlink. Meta becoming a power trader. These are all interesting things. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's good when you have a slow news day because the news that does break in is important. And my theory there is on any given day, especially in technology where there's not a lot of breaking news, you're not having breaking news the way you would have in world events where there's wars and votes and things like that. It's usually all scheduled in advance. On any given day, technology companies are going to try to control the news cycle to their advantage. They're going to try to announce a thing and be the dominant thing that day. They're going to try to get something in the news that helps shape a narrative in a way that's beneficial for them. And so usually when I'm looking at the news, I'm trying to look at like what's actually significant, what's actually different and new and useful for me as a consumer, and what is just somebody angling to get coverage so that they can, put something on their dashboard that they got this much coverage and that helped the brand, right? You usually see people avoid trying to do that on a day they know is going to be dominated by another story. So when Apple has an announcement, there's always this outgoing tide of news stories where we don't have anything the day before an Apple announcement because everybody's like, well, everybody's just going to be talking about the Apple announcement. Don't put out any press releases. Don't release any products. Every once in a while, a company is like, oh, we'll be the counter story to Apple, right? And sometimes that works for them. But mostly people don't try to do that. Well, Black Friday sales are that right now in the United States. So a bunch of US tech companies are just not putting anything out. So the things that are rising up into the news that aren't Black Friday sales are actual stories, right? They're not something where you put out enough press releases to enough top locations that it got written up and then it showed up and now I have to acknowledge it to tell you whether it's worth paying attention to or not. It's just things that are worth paying attention to. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. That when I looked at the stories today, I'm like, there's a lot of little things I want to talk to about. They're very interesting, but it is a slow news day, right? When I look at Google News, let's see. Black Friday, Google hints at Assistant shutdown. Black Friday, Microsoft speeding up File Explorer. Samsung rumor. There's always a Samsung rumor on Google News. Black Friday, like 3 of the top 6 are Black Friday. You kind of know it's not going to be a huge news day. And then TechMeme will never do Black Friday stuff. They understand that it's going to have to meet a certain standard before they're not going to talk about Black Friday deals so much. And this isn't going to work for you, but the more news is usually a much longer scroll. This is like, let's actually count 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 main stories. Stop. Gemini. 13 main stories. And usually I'd say there's 26 conservatively. So yeah, this is just a slow Monday, and yet it didn't feel like it. Felt like we had a lot to talk about. All right, let's see if anything else has happened. Council votes to change street. Okay. Home theater surround sound for Echo. Speakers rolling out now. Okay. Now it's time for me to... Well, I don't have enough speakers to do surround sound. I only have the one. TikTok's newest boy band, Boy Throb, is closing in on 1 million new followers. Oh, good for them. Pentagon threatens to prosecute Mark Kelly. That's not tech. Anthropic bolsters AI model. Anthropic released a new Opus model. That's for tomorrow. Signal's secure message backups arrive on iOS. That's notable. Might make it in tomorrow. I don't see this Gemini thing about Google Assistant going away. Did I skip past it earlier today? Let's look. Maybe it's not being reported by the outlets that I follow. Google Assistant. Google just gave Android Auto 2 days ago. Yeah, that's not being reported by the folks that I follow. That's usually a signal that this might not be a reliable story, or if it is a reliable story, that the other outlets don't think it's a big enough story. And look, Android Police, Sam Mobile, and 9 to 5 Google all have this. So those are 3 outlets that are not in my RSS feeds, but usually when they do something significant, it gets picked up by the outlets that are in my RSS feeds, but I think of them as reliable. So if Android Police is saying it, it's probably true. Google confirmed in one of its support documents that Assistant will no longer be accessible on most mobile phones later this year. Google has finally shed some light on when users won't be able to use. According to the official announcement, Google Assistant will be available for use even next year, but only for a limited time. Quietly notified its Android Auto support page. Oh, maybe you know what? I saw Android Auto when I searched just now. Google just gave Android Auto and we tested on the road. Oh, it's 4 days ago, so it wasn't that. That Google Assistant will be available for use until March 2026. So if the company sticks to this plan, Gemini will automatically replace Google Assistant after that March deadline. You know what? This actually smacks of Android Police, 9 to 5 Google, Sam Mobile have all done their due diligence to look at this support page. And the other ones, Ars Technica, The Verge, TechCrunch, are trying to do the same. They're trying to make sure that they see exactly the same thing. They need to find that notification, look at that support page, ask Google for a comment. And so maybe we'll see that story come to them by tomorrow. Did it come?
March 2026 is the rumored end date for Google Assistant, with Gemini taking over, as suggested by a banner on the Android Auto support page. Tech sites like Android Police and 9 to 5 Google are reporting this detail.
Thanks, Gemini. You're getting as bad as Alexa. All right. There you go. That is a look at the news. And Clinton says Android Police has gone downhill since they sold out. I feel like maybe that's true generally speaking, but I've not found them to be unreliable. I've not found them to be, when they do a story like this, that I'm like, oh, it's not real. Oh, they're exaggerating. I found them to be fairly consistently somebody I can look at and go, okay, they've made sure that story is right so far. At least for me, not for thee. Man, I went to Bob's Big Boy yesterday and got The big. Did you know that I think the Big Mac was a rip-off of the Big Boy? The Big Boy sandwich from Bob's Big Boy has special sauce and has a third bun layer and a double patty. The Big Mac, Big Boy, Big Mac, it's kind of a knockoff. Is the Big Mac just a knockoff of Bob's Big Boy? Anyway, had a Bob's Big Boy burger yesterday and a slice of their strawberry pie. And let me tell you, it's quite delicious, but I don't think I need to eat today. It's a lot of food, just saying. Delicious food, don't get me wrong, but a lot of food. So Eileen made chicken katsu last night, so it wasn't like I could skip dinner because that's delicious too. So I cut back on the dinner. I didn't have rice with my lunch, and I'm going to try to eat a very small dinner tonight because I don't need to be building up a lot of food ahead of Thanksgiving here in the U.S. because I'm going to eat a bunch of turkey on Thursday. Anyway, we've got a huge turkey breast, all spatchcocked, brined, and ready to go, and I want to eat that. And I want to eat pumpkin pie. And I don't want to have to think, oh, I ate that Bob's Big Boy on Sunday. So I'm just cutting back today. See how if I can make up a little time, make up a little progress. All right. When did the Big Mac first become available? 1967 in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and then nationwide in 1968. It was created by a franchisee named Jim Delegati to offer a bigger, more filling burger. Did the Big Boy rip off the Big Mac? Maybe it was the other way around. I didn't know. He did not invent the Big Mac, but merely copied the double-deck hamburger marketed by the Big Boy hamburger chain since the 1940s. Yeah, okay, I should have known. The Big Boy sandwich had been out. Mr. Delegati operated several McDonald's restaurants in the Pittsburgh area. It was created in the kitchen of Delegati's first McDonald's franchise, debuted at Uniontown on April 22nd, selling for 45 cents. It was designed to compete with Big Boy restaurants' Big Boy hamburger. Eaton Park was the Pittsburgh area's Big Boy franchisee at the time. Big Mac proved popular and was added to the menu in all U.S. McDonald's restaurants. So Delegati himself says he ripped them off. Oh, it's behind a paywall. Give me a better citation. Wow. So I was right. It was a total ripoff. It was an avowed. They weren't even trying to hide that it was a ripoff. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun had been done since the 40s. Blow the lid off the whole thing. Well, I guess McDonald's had the last laugh because nobody remembers Bob's Big Boy except a few of us. Especially, I mean, lots of people here in LA because we have the big Burbank location. But yeah, it was an homage, says Ambassador Domo. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I hate it when some people cite a Facebook page. It was one of the most iconic fast food sandwiches in the entire world. The Big Mac noticed his adult customers were craving something more substantial. This post on Facebook does not acknowledge the Bob's Big Boy thing, even though Jim Delegati, the inventor of the Big Mac, did acknowledge it. Good for you, Jim Delegati. You will live in fame, not infamy, infamy. Clinton remembers. So I got the mic flags made for the mics at CES. These are good for those thin mics that we use from not Ozbot. DJI? Ozbot? Anyway, yeah, those thin mics we use. We got some Got some great little mic flags. Okay. There's a white one and a black one. No, not the Shure mics, although they'll work on the Shure mics okay. It's those thin stick mics that they're really good for. All right. 7 had a blast on his hike. That's what it was, the message I was checking on my phone just then. So I got the mic flags. We're getting our stuff together. Osmo? Yeah, DJI Osmo. Thank you, Nick with a C. Getting our stuff together for CES. There is going to be a meetup. Okay, let's talk about that. If you are coming to CES, or if you're in Las Vegas and you're not coming to CES, you can come to our DTNS meetup. We are going to plan to have it. Let's see. I wrote this all down. Oh, I don't know if we determined a time yet. We are going to have it on Wednesday, January 7th. And the plan right now is to have it at Resorts World, possibly at 6:30. Plan on 6:30-ish. We will confirm the time later. But yeah, if you're attending CES or if you're going to be in Las Vegas for any reason, maybe you live there, on Wednesday, January 7th, you can come to Resorts World. Time to be determined, but evening, probably around 6:30. We're just going to all meet up in the little food court area they have at Resorts World. Bit off the strip, I know, but it's a nice area that's got a lot of space. We met up there last year and it worked out great. Everybody can get whatever food, drinks they want and just bring them over to whatever table we pull aside. Spread the word. Feel free to please tell everybody else. Resorts World, Wednesday, January 7th in the evening. Time to be determined. But probably 6:30-ish. We're trying to figure out, are there a bunch of parties on Wednesday night and when do they start, so that people who are going to those parties at CES might come to Resort World to hang out and then head on out to whatever parties they're going to. Parties being like networking events, CNET always has a big party, or used to. I assume they'll have another one this year. Maybe they won't. But yeah, everybody's always, the big NVIDIA, Microsoft. Well, I don't know if Microsoft does one anymore, but you know what I mean. There's parties. So again, Wednesday, January 7th in Las Vegas at Resorts World. More information to come. I really had a lot of fun playing around with the store this week. New things for autumn and winter. And you too. Even if your name's not autumn or winter. There's Synced. There's the holiday black mug. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. So R.W. Nash, who is a stellar stand-up gent, did video reviews. He did the DTNS pint glass. He actually poured a beer into it and then reviewed the beer. So if you're interested in the dark chocolate strawberry 440 milliliter can of fine ale from Vault City, you get that as well.
Better than anything else. So that includes earthenware, or if there's a match on in Cardiff, polycarbonate glasses, and insulates the beer from the heat of.
Also, it's just a lovely review. So thank you, R.W. Nash, for making that. I really enjoyed the review. He not only did one for the pint glass, which I had asked him, hey, when you get the pint glass, let us know what you think. Make a review. Do a road test. He also did one for the Len Peralta holiday mug.
Smooth. It's heavy, but I like it that way.
Takes a drink, gives it the full.
Holds the heat well. I don't know what it's like on how long the pictures last, but don't really care. Because
So thank you again, RW Nash, for road testing both the pint glass and the holiday mug from the DTNS store. That was lovely. They're great videos. Yeah, Larry in Atlanta wants to know why autumn gets 2 names and the other seasons only get 1. Summer, winter, spring. There's not alternate names for those. I mean, you could say other ways of describing the season, but it's not like autumn and fall. Autumn and fall, 2 names. Oh, Zoe says that R.W. Nash sounds very Welsh. That's because he's very Welsh. I have a feeling that's probably why. Just guessing. Zoe sounds very English. I've heard her in person. I mean, not very like, it's a bad thing in a good way. Both of you in a good way. So yeah, go check out Roger Nash's channel on YouTube to see that review, as well as reviews of other fine ales. He's got some videos from the Beano when he was taking some ales, taking some time off. He's got regular posts up there. It's good stuff, especially if you are into the fine ales. That is at Roger Nash, ROGERNASH. Support a fellow DTNS boss out. Nick with a C says the only reason it has 2 names is because Americans call it fall, and they're wrong. G. James B suggests autumn was tripped. Have a nice fall. Why is autumn called fall? I bet it has to do with leaves. It's a shortened version of the English phrase, the fall of the leaves, which was used starting in the 1500s. The name became more popular in America than autumn, just because we always take old things. People don't realize this, but a lot of American English is just old ways of saying things that got stuck here while England moved on. Word fall can be traced to Old English words that mean to fall from a height. Well, yeah, of course. Why does autumn have 2 names? Tree Hugger says this. Unlike summer and winter, or words that are derived from half and wet, respectively, and have been around for well over 1,000 years, the first words for the season between them is considerably younger. Autumnus is the Latin word. It replaced the original name for the season, which was simply harvest season. I actually like that. Let's just call it harvest season. Calling the season in which crops were collected from the fields harvest might have been confusing, given that the harvest is also the name for the act. No, it's not really confusing, but okay. Autumn was the go-to term. Fall came about in the 1500s as the fall of the leaves. And that's when it made it to the United States. Okay, so autumn has been around longer because it's Latin. Fall of the leaves became a meme, went viral in the 1500s, and then stuck around in America, but kind of died out in England. Yeah, no, Arado says, I love the idea that America is a black hole for old English phrases that we never stopped using. There's something. I went to Ireland one time, and my friend Michael from Ireland pointed it out to me. He's like, we never say gotten in English. That is a very old way of speaking. It's very almost Elizabethan way of speaking. But Americans say it all the time. I've gotten used to it. I don't know how true that is, but gotten definitely is an older way of saying things. The pronunciation of water, for example. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Fun times with language. Anything else? Any other questions? We'll do a proper mailbag tomorrow. I guess I should talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. No DTNS live this week because of the holiday on Thursday. No hangout on Friday. Because of the holiday on Thursday. Trust me, it makes sense. We always take Thursday and Friday off. You know what I can tell you is the new holiday schedule coming Oh yeah, this is good stuff. You'll need to know this. Okay. So, more information coming after Thanksgiving, but Wednesday, December 24th, we're going to do a live show. That will be our listener co-host show. We'll do a brief bit of news, whatever news is around. Probably do the quick hits. Maybe we'll do an extended quick hit. Then all of us, so me, Jason, Sarah, Roger, Rob, are going to talk about tech we want for the holidays or tech we remember getting for the holidays that we loved. Either one. And then we're going to ask folks, you guys, the patrons, the listeners, to join the show and share your story about what you either a piece of tech you loved getting for the holidays or something you would like to get for the holidays. So that will be the last DTNS live of the year. It will also double as the DTNS episode for that day, because that's Christmas Eve. If you would like to be a part of that, you can send me what memory or holiday tech wish you want to talk about, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and I'll file it away somewhere. But we'll have a more formal way of people requesting to be on that show that we'll develop and tell you about soon. So keep that in mind. December 25th, no show. That is a holiday. December 26th is when we begin our pre-recorded holiday episodes with gift support. Tech support tips, free stuff for your new devices. This will be all of us, the regulars, giving our own versions of this. Plus, we're asking particular folks in our extended family, like Patrick Norton, Trish Hirschberger, folks like that, to contribute a tech support tip or free item or something like that. So the gift support show, brand new holiday bonus show, coming Friday, December 26th. Saturday, December 27th, it will be the end of year summary show. Me and Jen Cutter have been doing these at the end of every month. In fact, we've got one coming up this week where we kind of summarize the stories of the month. We are going to summarize the stories of the year with Jen Cutter on Saturday, December 27th. December 29th, that's a Monday, is our best of 2025. Joe's been working hard on that. Tuesday, December 30th is our predictions results show. December 31st is our predictions show. No show on Thursday, January 1st for the New Year's holiday. And then we're back with a live show Friday, January 2nd. This will once again be both DTNS Live and regular DTNS, with all of us talking about what we expect to see at CES. That'll be Friday, January 2nd. Then, starting Monday, January 5th, 4 straight days of live CES coverage starting at 10 a.m. Pacific every day. So no 1 p.m. DTNS Live, but you get 4 DTNS Lives that week. And it will be hosted from CES. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to do an hour-long live stream. The first half hour will be the DTNS that tells you, here's all the news, here's all the stuff that happened, and then we will put that out as DTNS. The rest of the live will just be us like chilling and hanging and talking about stuff from CES with our guests. So check that out starting January 5th, January 6th, January 7th, January 8th. And then Friday, January 9th, we go back to normal shows with Jason and Hwyn. So that is the schedule all the way through the end of CES, January 9th. This will all be going out elsewhere as well. We'll put it in the December brief that gets sent to everybody on Patreon. And I'll talk about it again. I'll probably talk about it on the editor's desk as we get closer. Obviously, we'll be announcing how to join the listener co-host show and all of that stuff. So yeah, lots of fun things coming soon. That's all we got. I know, E.C. Thomason. I'm such a slacker. Yeah, I know. We'll do better next time. I promise. All right. If you want the hat, dailytechnewsshow.com/store. It's a nice looking hat. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Good to see everybody. Mailbag tomorrow, and then live with it on Wednesday. And then we're off for the holidays and then back next Monday. Okay. All good with you? Good with me. Thanks everybody. Have a good day and we'll see you soon.